What's up guys, I'm out with Edge Autosport and today is a Mazdaspeed kind of day on the rollers. I have got a 2009 first gen Speed 3 and it has a pretty nice setup. But first I've got to get this crap out of the way. Just kidding, I love this car. Oh, it did. It's running E85 and it's a little bit cold back here, so it was a nice little startup. JP's leaving his engine blocks in my zone. Yeah, I really enjoy tuning the Mazdaspeed. That's what I cut my teeth on as a tuner. I started tuning my Mazdaspeed 3 back in, 2010. I bought a V2 access port from Cobb Tuning in Plano when they were still Cobb Tuning, and started tinkering with myself. So I've been, I guess it's been 10 years now that I've been modifying Mazdaspeeds. Low correction factor today. It's nice and cool. All right, dyno's ready to go. Let's move the blue car, and then we can go grab this Mazdaspeed. Hopefully not still covered in a nice layer of ice from being parked outside last night. Trying not to hit or be hit by the people that like to fly through this parking lot at 60 miles an hour. All right. So I've got the car sitting here warming up a little bit. Before we put it on the dyno, I need to check oil and tire pressures and just visually check everything, make sure there's nothing that just screams that there's going to be a problem. But I have tuned this car before. It was on a B&R S4 turbo setup back in April 23rd. So back in April, which this is November, not that any of that really matters. This car did 395 horsepower, and it had a built motor back then. It still does have a built motor. So we were just like everything we could just squeeze out of the turbo and the stock fuel system. Went it at 422 foot-pounds of torque peak, and pretty flat horsepower curve at 395 horsepower. So this was when I tuned it before on E30, and now we are going to have another go at it. This time it has a Precision 5858 CP manifold and cosmic downpipe. It's pretty well set up. Carbon fiber. This car still doesn't have aux fuel though, so I don't really expect to make any more power than what we did before. The shape of the curve will change. He's installed an 18-pound spring. It's actually hitting 20 psi, which is kind of typical. I've got the Tile MVR wastegate on there, and that's what it seems to be kind of a common thing with the Tile wastegates. I don't know if it's their springs or their spring ratings or what, but it's kind of hard to get them right, it seems. With 18 psi spring as per the spring chart, it ends up in the 20 psi, 23 psi range. So probably not going to be able to run much more boost than what spring pressure is giving me because of that, because we are going to be hitting the fuel limits on this turbo with as much air as it flows. Okay, so I just downloaded the map that I'd sent him for my desktop. Make sure he's running the correct one, which he is. So this is for E30 already. I guess that's the only thing we're doing on this car is an E30 tune. I think that's the only fuel that he runs in it, is E30. But I do want to verify with him, make sure that that is what he has in here before I start cranking things up. Yeah, other than that, I think we're good to go with this map. So yeah, let's get this thing on the dyno. Actually, let's check the oil first, and then we're gonna put this on the dyno and get a baseline on the new turbo. I do really like the view in this car. It's a nice little carbon fiber hood. It's time to let's go ahead and set the roll speed and see if we can't start moving. I don't know if that view is going to be good for you guys. Hopefully, probably vibrating like crazy. As you guys probably saw, that was a little smoky. I don't know if this is a journal bearing turbo, but I've seen that a lot. It seems from the precision journal bearings they like smoke. That one we did a little bit lower torque and horsepower. Just got to check the log here and see what was different, but it did rev out to 800 RPM. We were able to rev it out. We're right at the top of what the fuel system can do on this turbo at about 19 PSI. So I can run it a little bit leaner, and I'm gonna probably just keep the boost low and make the power with spark advance if it'll take it any more spark advance. Let's see what we can do. Alright, so I just messed around with the spark timing just a little bit, and we're gonna do another pull. See if we can't pull the power up some. I don't think we're going to be able to get any more boost out of it. It's just right at the top of what the fuel system can do. Some cars will do more, some cars will do less. It just kind of depends on the car, the injectors, and different factors. So, but we're going to go ahead and do a pull. Some of the timing tables, I was pretty close to the max table. That's what we were riding on. So I bumped those up, so now we should be able to hit our targets. I think we just sprung a leak. Flashlight. Excuse me while I hold it with my chin. You can see right here, there's a crack. That crack right there in the recirc tube, and it's probably just worked itself loose or worse as the engine's rocking and stuff with the pulls that I've been doing. But yeah, so that is a problem. I'm gonna see, gotta talk to the owner and see if he wants to go ahead and replace that and go from there. But otherwise, we're running a bit on the lean side with that, at least right after the pull anyways. It doesn't seem to have affected during the pull, but now at idle, I've got a plus 20 fuel trim, so it's definitely sucking in unmetered air, and that's a spot where you can suck in unmetered air. But as for the power curve, here's where we are right now, sitting at 385 foot-pounds of torque, 393 horsepower. I haven't had a chance to look at the data log yet, so I'm not 100% sure what caused that dip. Just letting the battery in my laptop charge up a little bit, and then I'm gonna pull up the data log. But there was no knock on the pull, at least not from what I could see while watching the parameters live, but it could just be a weird spot in the spark, in the ignition timing map. But I don't know, we'll see when I get to look at the log. Well, nothing in the data log is jumping out as a problem. I don't see anything weird there. 6,500 RPMs is where it happens. There is a tiny dip in boost right there, and then it spikes back up, but it's tiny. It's like 18.5 up to 9. It's a half a PSI, but that could be it. 6,500. Nothing's doing anything weird. Fuel pressure looks good. It is running just a little bit richer right there. We are at 95% duty cycle. I know I could go a little bit higher, but this car, anytime I hit, once I'm hitting 100% on this car, it will start to break up top. So I'm trying not to push it above that. See if he wants us to fix that recirc hose. Otherwise, outside of the dip, I kind of want to figure out what's going on there, but I got to fix that recirc hose first. So see if he wants to pay for one, or if he wants to just do it himself and call it good. But I've got to wait till I hear back from him, and then we will go from there. Okay, so got a hold of the customer. He wants us to go ahead and replace the recirc tube, so the bypass valve hose. So now I've got to walk all the way to our warehouse and retrieve one. And now I've got to go all the way back. All right, now that we're back at the car, let's get this JBR recirc tube, or bypass valve hose, whatever you want to call it, installed and finish this tune. The data log from that last pull, it went lean in the mid-range, 5,500 RPM area. It's a little bit lean. Come along. Looks to still be on there. Now my next guess is the turbo, which it is a little bit loose on there. I'm not sure if you can see it in the video. Let's try to get some indirect light. You can kind of see in there's a little bit of a gap between where, like right there at the compressor inlet, but I don't, oh, look at that. Hello, exhaust leak. Not sure if you guys can see that either, but that looks like an O2 bung that is, oh, I'm melting my flashlight probably, that is completely gone. Yeah, right there. There's no bung in that, or there's no plug in that bung. That's post wideband, so I don't know that that would cause it to go lean, but that is an issue. Well, let's do a leak test, and we'll see if we can't find something besides the hole in the exhaust. All right, let's see where this comes out at. Oh, there's the smoke. It's coming out of the exhaust. I'll use the laser pointer. Kind of see it hitting the laser there. That is what is registering as a leak right now, I guess. Which that is an exhaust leak. That bung is really close to the wideband, so perhaps at idle it is pulling in a little bit of fresh air and causing the car to run lean. Either way, it needs to be fixed, so I don't think we have a plug here, so that might be a problem. But moving on, and we're gonna see if we can't figure out if we can plug that or something and see if that fixes it. You might be wondering why I'm wearing my suit here. It is because I cannot get to the O2 bung from the top. My wrists are just slightly too big and my arms are just slightly too short. So I would then take the car off the lift or off the dyno and then put it on the lift. However, the Civic is sitting over here transmissionless with the e-brake locked. It's electronic e-brake and it is stuck on. So we can't really move that either. So the next solution is to just back the car up a little bit and for me to crawl into that tiny hole there and see if I can't reach the O2 bung from here. Into the rat hole. Be a tuner, they said. It'll be fun, they said. Okay, now that that hole is fixed, we can plug it back in, see if that fixes the lean condition. I'm not 100% sure that it will, but it is a glaring issue, so best to start with what you can see, I guess. So let's turn this thing back on and see if it's lean still. So we're sitting right at about 19.3 19.38 is the max. This thing spools quicker than the VNR does, it looks like. We hit brakes over at 42.42 peak torque. Peak torque is just before 4,500 RPMs. I'll have the graph posted here so you guys can see it. We're not making as much torque as we were on the S4, but that's just because of the way I'm running the boost curve on this turbo. Rather than ramping it up and then tapering it off, I'm just running a flat curve at about 19 pounds. We are sitting at the same horsepower, just a little bit less torque. But once this car gets some auxiliary fuel, we'll be able to run quite a bit more. I mean, this thing has a ton left in it. We're only at 19 pounds of boost, so it's gonna make some jam once we have the fuel to do so. Wait, 15 seconds, that's forever! Facebook drama. Facebook drama. Oh, look, a puppy. So we're just gonna take this thing for a little test drive real quick. Quite the aggressive clutch, the ACT 6-buck. I think that's what's in this car. This thing is low and bouncy. Love love driving customer cars, and it's when everyone tries to run into it. And of course, there's nowhere to go. There we go. There we go. Only at 19, so that's good. It's running the same boost on the tree as it is on the dyno. That tells me that my dyno is loading it properly. I'll go ahead and cut to it now, but here's a chart for the comparison between the boost curve for the S4 and the boost curve for the 5858. You can see that the B&R S4, it comes on a little bit faster, and we're running quite a bit more boost on the S4 than we are on the 5858, but making the same power. A little bit of wheel spin in third there. I can't wait till we get this car back with some ox fuel, and we can really make some power. It is on a built motor, so it's definitely set up to take what we can throw at it. It's just a matter of being able to fuel it. So I'm not sure what his plan is. I do believe it'll probably end up with like a Focus ST manifold from Damon Motorsports, and then the port injection kit that accompanies that. Otherwise, like as far as like we have that available at Edge Autosport. We also have he got this turbo kit from us. He got the B&R from us too, I believe. And now he's got the precision full turbo kit that we created around the CPE manifold with the precision V-band flange and the 5858 precision turbo. All that stuff can be found on our site. And if you're interested in tuning, we can e-tune you or dyno tune you. We'd be happy to take care of you and help you get all the horsepower as you want. But anyways, thanks for watching this video. I hope you liked it. It's a lot of fun making these videos, so if you guys have any suggestions or anything, just put them down in the comments, and be sure and subscribe to the channel so you can see when we release them and all